So, as I'm sure most of you know, over the past few weeks we've seen tons of ISC leaks for Spirit. I'm here to talk about the ISC leaks and what this can mean for the upcoming season. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First off, I want to talk about the front entrance. So, as you can see, it's kind of just a basic Spirit arch. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, and we get Pumpkin Punisher as well as Jason right out front. But we've seen an arch out front for years now, and it would have been cool to see Spirit switch it up a little. Not to mention, there's also Harmonica Hank in the front entrance. Even though he's kind of off to the side, still cool to see him there, and I still think he fits in pretty well. I also really like the smaller details in this front part of the ISE, such as the hanging lamps and the owl kind of on top of the arch. These are just great attention to detail, and I'd love to see more of these small details, especially with the lamps. I always say lighting's one of the most important parts of a haunt, and these lamps may be something that I have to pick up at the end of this year. So, as for the main ISE, I have a lot of thoughts. So, I'll start off with the cons, which are few, and then I'll get into the positives. So, starting off, I don't really like how Trash Bandit's in the ISE. I don't mind him as an animatronic. I think he's a decent budget prop. But as for the ISE, he just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, and he just doesn't really seem like he fits in where he is. That's honestly my only gripe with the ISE from what we've seen. Now, as for the positives. Since there are so many positives in my opinion, I'll just start rattling them off and talk about the more important ones. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, for starters, I love the plant detail. I think the trees look great, and I really like the smaller dried out plants that are kind of just like sprinkled in all along the IC. I also love the design of the main hut. It has the really cool lamps that the front entrance had, and I just think it looks really cool. Reminds me of 2015 a little bit, which was one of my favorite seasons, so I'm a little biased towards it. But I also like the directions signed in the map board. We can kind of see them in some of the leaked images. They're a little hard to see, but I still think they look cool from what we've seen so far, and those may be some of the smaller things I have to pick up at the end of the season. Now I'll get into the back dock type theme. So as before, I'll get into the cons and then the positives. So for the cons, the only things I don't really like is that the IC is a little small. It's still big, don't get me wrong, but it would have been cool if it were bigger, more closer to like the size of the middle theme. But we'll kind of have to wait and see till flagship to kind of get a gauge on how big it is. I also think the water effect with Bog Monster could have looked better, but that's really about it. I still really like this theme, and let's get into the pros. So, for starters, I absolutely love the lifeguard tower. It's such a cool detail, and if you have any type of water theme, or just like aquatic theme in general, I definitely recommend picking it up. Next, I also enjoy the cattail, aka like the swamp plants near the water. It's a smaller detail, sure, but it adds a lot to the effect, and I think stuff like that should always be appreciated. I also think the lamppost is such a cool touch. I really hope it lights up like the hanging lamps we saw in the front theme, because if it does, that may be a pickup that I have to get. Lastly, I want to go over the side ISE. This is of course the pizzeria from the Five Nights at Freddy's series. We don't know if this will be like the Young He display from last year where it's only in select stores, but hopefully all stores have it. I don't have too much to say about it, but it's a really cool idea to have it in stores, and I think Freddy will fit in perfectly. Lastly, I want to mention the connection to 2017. So, as I'm sure many of you know, in 2017 we got the Spirit Hollows IC. This is a forest type theme with some cool animatronics. However, what some people don't know is that the back theme for 2017, Area 31, was originally supposed to be a House in the Wood themes. This is very reminiscent of the kind of middle theme for this year. Higher ups at Spirit accidentally started ordering alien props, and the theme had to be switched last minute to accommodate all the alien props. So, let me know your thoughts below.